isn't it? Anyone can tell me how the language is formed? What are the areas which is responsible for the language formation?
Broca's and Vernix area.
Broca's, very good. The Broca's area and as well as the Vernix area, isn't it? So, where is the Broca's area? Broca's area, it is the motor area for the speech which is present where? Area number 44 here and 45. That is pars triangularis as well as the pars opercularis, isn't it? Area 44 and 45 on the inferior frontal gyrus. Okay, that we have discussed in the previous class. Vernix area. The Vernix area, where it is present? It is present, this is the posterior ramus of the lateral sulcus here. Okay, and posterior to that, the Vernix area and the lateral part of the superior temporal gyrus. It is the Vernix area. Area number?
22.
Very good. Area number 22. This Vernix area also functions as the association area for the auditory. That means for the hearing, isn't it? Area 22 or the Vernix speech area, it also functions as the auditory association cortical area. That's it. Now, how the speech is formed? There is an association area here. Inferior parietal lobule, it is present here. These all things we have discussed in the previous lecture. This is the intraparietal sulcus. This is the superior parietal lobule and the inferior parietal lobule. In the inferior parietal lobule, there was the supramarginal as well as the angular gyrus. Just over the posterior ramus, there was the supramarginal and the superior temporal sulcus. There is the angular gyrus. That is area 40 and area 39. That is the angular gyrus. How it functions? It functions as it receives all the sensory information which is related or the needed for the Vernix area. The purpose of Vernix area is what it will do? It will interpretate what? The written words and the spoken words. Written words for what? Vision. If you see what it is written here, it is written the functional area of cerebral hemisphere. Everyone will appreciate this. Okay, that means you are able to interpret biovernix area, that the written over here it is the functional area of the cerebral hemisphere, and whatever I am speaking and you are understanding it, okay, that is the spoken words. That means you are able to understand those words. Okay, now how it is related with the angular gyrus here? So written words and the spoken words. Spoken words, that means you are hearing. That means for the speech formation there must be an association area, okay. That means area which is responsible for the hearing, which interprets the spoken words and on the which is based on the past experience. Just like the written words, whatever I have written, that will be the function of what? Visual association area. What I have explained in the previous class, where is the visual association area or the cortex? That is the area number 18 and 19 around the visual area or the striate area. It is present in the lateral to the wall of the calcarine sulcus here. This is the medial surface of the cerebral hemisphere. This is the occipital lobe and here it is the calcarine sulcus. So in the wall, lateral wall, there it is the cuneus and here it is the lingual gyrus. So both the walls of it is forming what? The visual area, and around that area there is the visual association area. So this visual association area will interpret the written words on the experience of the past experience. Okay, just like the spoken words. So auditory association area, the visual association area as well as the frontal, prefrontal cortex, okay, or the somatosensory association area. All these area, from all these association area, this angular gyrus, it coordinates the input, whether visual, whether auditory or the sensory other. It is interpreted and it is delivered where? To vernix area. Now the vernix area, it is able to understand what is the meaning. Whatever I am speaking, people are able to understand. Whatever I have written, you people are able to read it, isn't it? So with the help of the angular gyrus, in the angular gyrus, there is a common neural representation of the written words and the spoken words, and which is shared by both the speech as well as the writing, isn't it? So now this vernix area will perceive whatever sound, whatever the written words. Now this vernix area, it will send efferent fibers to which part? The Broca's motor speech area, isn't it? This is the Broca's motor speech area, okay? That is the motor aspect of the language, and this for speaking. I am now speaking in front of you, so my vocal cords, the lips, the tongue, okay, all are coordinated accordingly. The striated muscle of all these structures are coordinated accordingly to speak, to let you people understand whatever I am discussing here. So this is the motor aspect of the language. So the Brodmann's area 44 and 45, it is the Broca's motor speech area, okay? It will help in the language formation, that is the articulation of the words, how the words are formed. Now this Broca's motor speech area, what it will do? Ultimately, there will be the motor component from which will guide the contralateral part of the body for the tongue, isn't it? That is represented where? In the motor area, and here just nearer to the Brodmann's area, the representation of the tongue, the oral cavity, the mouth, it is nearer to the Brodmann's area 44 and 45. Then it will send the fibers, commanding fibers to speak now, isn't it? So there are two aspects of if there is lesion. Suppose if there is lesion of there are so many aphasias. You are asked short notes on aphasia. Then what you will write? The language function, it is related with the two areas, sensory as well as the motor. Both of them are called sensory speech area as well as the motor speech area. Okay, so sensory speech area, it is the vernix, and motor, it is the. Now there are two types of aphasia. If there is lesion here in the vernix area, what it will lead to? Fluent aphasia. What I am saying? It will lead to fluent aphasia. What do you mean by fluent aphasia or the sensory aphasia, or the other word receptive aphasia? What does it mean? All the meanings are same. This is the sensory aspect of the demerit in the language formation, that is the fluent aphasia. Fluent means I am able to speak. Okay, isn't it? Because my Broca's motor speech area, it is not involved, it is not damaged, it is not lesioned here. So it will be only the vernix area, that is the sensory aspect of the language, will be deranged here. Okay, so I am able to speak, but I am not able to understand whatever I am saying. There is no meaning of the sentence, whatever I am speaking, that is meaningless speech. Okay, and that is known as the sensory aphasia. Okay, because the written words, spoken words, not able to understand. Now the other part is motor aphasia or affluent aphasia. Broca's motor or the motor aspect of the aphasia or affluent aphasia. Affluent means unable to speak, isn't it? So unable to speak, why? Because there is lesion where? In the Broca's motor speech area. So the person will understand. The person is able to understand the written words, he can able to understand the meaning of the spoken words, but he or she unable to speak. So this type of, if again this is the aphasia, then which type of aphasia it is? It is the motor type of aphasia. Then third one, there is a third variety also. You can imagine there must be a condition in where the sensory and motor area both are damaged, isn't it? So what are the, tell me the blood supply of the area which is supplying the vernix area and the motor, Broca's motor speech area. Anyone? Anyone? Which artery? Very good. The middle cerebral artery, thank God, the only artery which is supplying the pharynx as well as the motor both, isn't it? So the middle cerebral artery is the blood supply of both the area. So suppose in one condition, if both the area is damaged, then there is global aphasia. That means the person is not able to speak properly, or the person is not able to understand the meaning of the spoken as well as the written words. That in that condition it is known as the global aphasia, neither vernix or the sensory aphasia or the motor aphasia. You have to say it, complete global aphasia. Have you heard there is a special variety here again, which is the applied aspect of this language formation? Anyone? Have you heard the name of dyslexia? Dyslexic person. And in this condition it is mainly seen in children. Anyone? Have you heard the name of this lesion? Where? You must have seen the movie Tare Zameen Par, okay? The person, the child, he was dyslexic. That means he was not able to read and write properly. Neither he can read properly, neither he can write properly. Why? Because there was not proper appreciation of the visual association area, not able to identify the interpreted, the written and words there. And that condition, it is known as the dyslexia. And that is also the part of the applied aspect of the language, dyslexic. That means this condition, it is mainly seen in children, okay? But what about the IQ? The IQ, it is normal but or above normal, isn't it, of the dyslexic person.